We'll begin the Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, September 9, 2014. And first item on the agenda is review and approve minutes of August 12.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is the review of the monthly warrant, approve the bills.
I had a couple of quick ones. What's the Green Mountain Power that's 4,235.09?
2 months because of the way we're billed.
Okay. That number just kind of jumped out at me.
I know, I'm sure it did. It's, Mark, it's not always exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I wait for the bill.
Sure.
And sometimes it crosses our meetings.
Is by any chance the firehouse, $10,000 on the firehouse, that capital improvement that they're doing?
It's for the back stairs.
Yes, because then we, in June, when there were expenses here, we moved money from the firehouse reserve fund, so the village doesn't actually take this out of their checking account.
Right.
So is that the
Is
color?
that okay? Do you intend for this to be
Oh, yeah, it's
paid
coming,
that way as well?
it's coming out of
Yep,
their
okay. Yep.
building fund. There was something else I had, wondered if it wasn't Fountain, not labeled such. Norm, what's the L&G Fabricator 698?
That would be for the plate that's underneath the bottom.
All right. So that's
So
Fountain.
is that Fountain too then?
Yep, that should be fountain too.
Okay.
Should be the way it was marked.
Did you get that, Mary?
No, which one was that again?
L&G Fabricator 698.37.
Page 2.
Which is 7051,
Eighth or
which
ninth
is
one
Fountain.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Fountain?
Yeah.
So then why does some things say Fountain and some things have a code?
Well, because the codes are new, some of the
Okay.
codes are new, and I don't do bills all at the last minute, I do them as they come in,
Okay,
so that's why.
all right.
So, but those are the same, like Fountain and
And
7051 are the same
7051
exact, so
are
they're
all
the same thing.
Fountain.
Perfect.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the warrant.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got a copy too.
Citizen comments, being none.
Get another copy.
We might want to do payroll and.
No,
Oh, we got- sorry.
There's a wind code for it?
Yeah, this is the problem with my new paperless system. is I just think I'm done when I'm not done. August payroll.
I move we approve it.
If you're in there, do you have the correct,
I can just
Was that the one she corrected?
Yeah, there was a corrected one.
copy.
there should be a corrected one, so you're, yeah, that's not
Thank you.
the actual.
I know it came.
That's the corrected.
August payroll for 5807.35. Did you move?
I move we approve it at 5807.35.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a wind coat of $1,950.
I move we approve that?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This is front and back.
Do you want that? Yeah, one signed.
I think they have, you have the, did you print the
Payroll?
I got it
I
right
have the
there.
new one,
new one?
yes.
Okay,
It's right here.
okay.
That's front and back on that too.
We good?
Yep.
Highway facilities report, Mr. LeBlanc.
Well, we're almost done with Bank Street. We're waiting on, putting topsoil and some gravel on the other side. We have a truck that's, broke. That deliveries for some warranty work. We've just received a grant from a new insurance company for backup cameras. I asked David to print out the paper.
Yep. Okay.
My computer's crashing. I'm gonna buy a computer this week.
Front and back.
We always spent a lot of time working on the fountain, cleaning up our boneyard this month, and
Is that screen soil? Is that your screen soil? The piles that are down there?
well, it's ours and the contractor that we're working with.
It's nice looking stuff.
Yep. Yes, it is.
I got a copy of those grants for you, Norm, to keep in
Okay.
file.
Thank you, Dave. And,
I emailed, Mary,
Yes.
I emailed you a copy of these grants.
Yes.
Right, so
The bigger one, is that what we're calling that Bank Street?
that's
project
Bank
now?
Street, yes.
Okay. Is there anything else on this warrant for that project?
there's a whole bunch of stuff on it. Well,
On this one?
I'm probably not crazy because we haven't got to go for paving yet.
Well, afterwards, can you identify for me what might be on here that's really that project? Thanks.
It doesn't look like there's probably a lot that's yet come through here yet.
Mary, are the new codes done?
Yes, they're really what I had sent out before, and then, Norm, did you, I don't think we added any more
What's that?
new GL codes.
No.
Okay.
We'll get a new list out.
Looks like you'll probably be getting kind of busy here soon with the annual leaf extravaganza.
Sure.
Is that system all functional?
I know I,
Won't know till you put it on the truck.
but I didn't even look at it.
If it's no surprise, Norm doesn't like leaves. Is it the same as before, though? Announce that people can get their leaves on the curb?
We'll talk about it next month. How about that?
Well, I think the sooner we let them know that, the better.
We don't have a plan yet, so that's the best I can do.
Okay. Well, that's quick and easy. Fire department, oh, development review boards, anything going on there? DRB? Fire department, they're, I guess, beginning to work on their building. Water board. New business.
Let's see, I've got a few things. New business. I can do a new business. Jonah contacted Bill and I about a week and a half ago to set up just a meeting time for sign placement for the historic marker. So Bill spoke with him on Saturday, I believe.
I don't know, I met with him last week, so.
One
One of those days last
And I'm meeting him actually down the park on Tuesday morning if he confirms that. That was one of the dates I sent him back. And thought I would also get input. We're gonna meet down there and see, like, I still don't have a really good idea of size and shape and everything, so he's gonna fill me in on that, and we'll try to find a good spot for that to go. And obviously, all of your suggestions or any other suggestions are welcome.
When is that?
We're meeting on Tuesday morning at 9. He has not, he sent me a couple times, I replied that that was good. I haven't heard back from him, I'm assuming that's when we're
Why
gonna
don't
meet.
you send out a thing when
Yeah.
Let me
that's
confirm that?
confirmed?
Sure.
I mean, Norm should be there if he can be, just with regard to turnaround, snow removal, making sure it's not in his way.
Yeah, I think, well, with the historic marker isn't gonna be near the driveway, I would assume. I mean, the ideas would be probably
Down
close to the bridge somewhere, although that's kind of,
wet down there.
yeah. So I think a lot of it's gonna be what the
Maybe by the picnic table. if
ground
it's
looks
by
like.
the
Could be by the,
up high on
the,
Cement thing.
cement slab where the fissures. And then we've also got to consider, which I have a little old business too, about the signboard we're potentially putting down there. That would be something that would probably be located closer to the parking, because then people could pull right in and,
Yes.
and it would be quicker to see, so. I would assume the
That's what
historic
George
marker.
envisioned, I would imagine.
We're gonna talk about that in old business too.
Yeah, because it would provide visibility from the road that you're entering a park.
Right.
So anyway, we're gonna meet down there at 9, so if anybody has any immediate ideas, you're welcome to share them, or if you'd like to meet down there, I'll let you know when we confirm. Always looking for others people's opinion on that.
I don't know if you guys have noticed Green Mountain Power out doing all the street lamps and, which is great. I mean, it's inconvenient, but, they've been really nice. Like, they've been
Yeah, they're-
stopping and talking to people and saying, what do you think of this? Should we put a little, you know, so just a thank you to Green Mountain Power for being out there doing that and
Oh,
being
and it's the
incredibly
college
nice
that
about it.
made this happen
Made it
for us.
That's right, that was in the book, sure.
Yep.
And it's, you know, for us, it means we're gonna save about $6,500 a year in cost of streetlights. And this installation cost us $0. It was all through the college and Efficiency Vermont. And I think the impressive thing is the reduction in power required. I calculated it out this morning just for my own interest, but over 10 years, it'll save 50 tons in CO2 emissions. 50 tons, I mean, that's a lot of gas. I mean, it's a great job, and the students did a super job making it happen.
You know, somebody asked me the other day how I liked the light on my street, and I hadn't even realized it had changed. You know, with the leaves on the tree, you don't see it much, but look at, I love it. I mean, it is just nice, direct, down.
The color is perfect, nobody
bright-
looks like zombies.
Yeah.
It's daylight. Plus, the other neat thing is because it's daylight color and there's no heat, the insects aren't attracted to it.
Didn't know that.
So, you know, that's one of
Sometimes those old ones would just fill up with
Yeah.
bugs, and then they'd have to
What are the insects gonna do now, though?
No, I think it's great.
survive, because they won't be going towards artificial lights and burning up.
Backyard.
And you don't get any of that light reflecting up into the atmosphere that gives you that
Light
kind of
pollution.
city look.
No, it's a great program. We've waited for it. I'm glad it's happening. Do you know to what degree they are complete?
I don't know. I actually haven't spoken with them myself.
They
I've
called
talked
me
to other
today and they
people
said
who
that
have.
they're done now.
They're done.
Are they?
Right.
Okay.
So if anybody sees a street light that hasn't been changed, you know, just give one of us a call and we can, because they said, we think we got them all.
Yeah.
And
What if they got
there
the one in
was
the park? Now, are they doing all of our lights?
the whole
Because
village.
there's some like inside the park that aren't on the street, but they're,
If they're ones that
If
the
they're ones that
village
we
is paying
leased.
for, they're done.
okay,
I don't know if those
I'll
are,
take a peek in there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, if the
'Cause like-
village is paying for it? Yeah, I mean, they're on our,
if they're on the village,
yeah, it's one that's right by the,
But
storage
that
shed
could
for
also
Little League.
be, that could also just be direct wired to a meter. Whereas the streetlights themselves, we aren't actually paying for a metered cost. We pay a annual rental fee based on the
Right.
output of the light.
Okay.
So it's possible that one is not part of their system.
I'm curious, I'll drive home that way. And
Yeah, and if it isn't, then let's
Be
find
curious
out
to see if it's
what
the
we
same
need
or
to do to
different.
get
Sure.
it changed as well.
I'll check the one down on Park Street that's way down by Hillside.
yeah,
there,
right.
Because it's kind of out of the way.
But they think they've got them all, and again, some of them may be on separate property lines.
And that's
And-
easy enough if we call them and say,
and that
hey,
can be
there's this
changed.
one here, they'll tell us whether it's
Right.
available or eligible or not.
I was impressed with, I had heard from someone that there was a light out on Mechanic Street. And what I'd like, so I called Green Mountain and they were back with me in minutes. And then the next morning, a guy said, I'm here, where's the light? Of course, I said, I don't know, because he said, the best thing is for the people who notice that in front of their homes to just call Green Mountain and go up, but prior to that, go out and get a pull number.
Right.
So I didn't have that. He ended up finding it, I think, but I haven't heard back.
Now, there's two things that people should be looking out for, the lights that aren't lit, but also ones that stay on all day because the sensors go, and that's even worse, I think.
It doesn't affect our cost, but it's definitely an environmental
Right, right.
concern, yeah. Any other new? Although that wasn't so new.
Half new.
Any old business?
Got one of those.
Okay.
Also, so as we mentioned, the signboard. We had brought it up at I can't remember if it was last meeting or 2 meetings ago now, I think. The Laragos donated money toward a signboard. We thought we found one. It was through an ordering system that we weren't aware was only eligible for certain municipalities. So what we thought was the price was no longer the price, and it went up. So we have two options. We were originally probably going to spend around $600 in shared cost. It'll now be closer to probably $1,100 or $1,000 in that range. So our cost went up maybe $400 to $500, I think. So we just have to make a decision, and it would be out of the Park and Rec money. Personally, I think we should move forward and go ahead and get the sign. The options are we can go with a cheaper sign, which means more maintenance, which I know somebody's not going to be in favor of, and neither would I be. It wouldn't be as nice a sign. Or we could stick with the same sign and absorb the extra cost through Park and Rec, which there is room for. Or the third option is we decide not to put the sign in right now and adjust, but in that case, we should reimburse the Laragos the money they've donated as soon as possible.
I think it's important that we do it.
It was a fantastic gesture.
Here we have individuals in the village willing to help share the cost. I mean, at one time, it was gonna be a full donation, but I think it's, in the spirit of that, we need to do it. And I think a sign needs to be down there.
Yeah, it would certainly.
Is that something we would try to do this fall, or would we just wait till?
I think getting the sign's important to get it here, and then we can
Decide
make that call when we get it. Because if we don't get it in this fall, we could certainly do it first thing in the spring. But I think if we're going to go forward with it, it makes sense to me if the money is already there in the Park and Rec budget and we're willing to go. We've already got the Laragos money. It would make sense to me to just go ahead and get it ordered. And if we find we don't have time to put it in, then we just make a plan to get it in first thing. And at least then we have a plan and we know what we have to work with. And I know Norm is probably going to be very busy in the fall, so getting it in this fall may not be an option, but.
Well, he's got room in his office. We can store it in there for the winter.
So anyway, I would like some input on that, and if it is a go, then.
Do we need a vote on that?
Couldn't hurt.
Is there a motion to go ahead with the purchase of the sign, understanding that it will now cost us
Our end would be roughly.
$600,
More. So, our total cost would be close to $1,000 now.
of which we have 500 of.
No, total
okay.
cost of the sign is 15 to 16.
Okay, all right.
The original
I
cost was
misunderstood that.
around 1,000 to 11, so it went up from there. So our cost would be roughly $1,100
Okay.
to $1,000.
And you feel comfortable that that's in the budget?
Yes.
Parks budget? Good.
I'll move that we go ahead and purchase a sign.
I'll second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain.
Yeah.
Okay, so Janice, if you could get the order form back to, I think I gave you that.
Okay, we still have that.
Yep.
We've got that book, yeah.
And we'll go ahead and just make that order. So Lori, if I drop that to you, you can make that order. You were 90% done with it anyway. You were almost ready to hit the button,
I know,
right?
I know.
Until that happens, so,
Yeah.
great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have some old business too. Are you done, Mark?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Should I go ahead? Well, I sent out a copy of the charter. In fact, several copies went out. The original charter, or the current charter as it's online, a draft with lots of questions and comments that Bill and I had done, and then a more detailed document that Eileen Scully had provided that had a lot of background comments from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns Select Board Handbook, which is a useful resource. She had pointed us in that direction.
So she's from the League of Towns?
No, she's a professor up at Bennington College.
Oh, okay.
That, so this is another nice collaboration. And she, Susan Scorbati, I think, offered her as someone who could help with research issues, and she's been great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's
She's been
unbelievably
great.
good.
So if we get stuck, we've said, what can you find out? And well, she's done a great job. I mean, it's like a college term paper. I mean, it's that big deal.
Very good.
But there's, at this point, I'd be interested if there's any feedback, but there's obviously a number of questions that need to be resolved, and would like to set a time in October to be able to do that. The timeline is pretty tight.
Yeah, we should, just as a separate meeting, we should set that so we can discuss it, correct?
Well, make decisions about it,
Right.
so that it can be,
Yeah, I mean, there's things here that are contradictory to, I mean, we gotta hash out a lot of things.
yes, there are no,
When's good for you? This is soccer season.
Yeah, I would have to check my games. We practice early after school, so I'm done by 4:30. So an evening meeting would be fine, it would just have to be around my
Saturday
game schedule.
Saturday not good?
Saturdays are fine. I do have some Saturday games, so it would depend on, I don't have my game schedule with me, but I could, if you gave me a couple, I could reply tonight when I got home and let you know when they are.
Saturday's awkward for me until we get to the 25th. I'm booked all Saturdays.
To the 25th of October?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Well, then we're not
It
doing
is a good
that,
problem to have.
because we need to do it before then, so I think.
What? And it looks, I mean, just in looking at that document, there's a lot. So this needs to have a significant amount of
I
time
would,
attached to
I
it.
would.
Oh,
And I think
yeah.
it won't even be the last, you know, I think.
It may not, it may
It
not,
may
it
not.
may take more than one.
Well, I think there's some things for Rob Wilmington to weigh in on as well. And maybe those are the ones the first identify, so he could be working on that piece.
Yeah.
Has he been sent a copy of this yet?
No.
Okay.
We
So-
met, Bill and I met with him, and we shared with him the thinking and got some feedback from him, but he's not seen the specific language.
Does it make sense for him to be the first person?
Well,
I don't know, I think there's some decisions.
Or are there ones
we-
in there that we
there's-
just,
I think
We
there's
can
some-
make some decisions on our own first, and at least make his job easier.
okay, and it could actually happen at
We
the
want to
same
narrow
time
down
too.
we want to narrow down to a number of things that we can then submit to him, I think. We wouldn't want him spending 3 hours.
Because a lot of it
every
is
meeting.
our decision.
Right.
Right, a lot of
Oh,
it's
no,
actually
I
opinion.
meant, are there things that are, do we already know what involves him, or are there still some gray areas in what he has to deal with and what we have to deal with?
I suspect as we get into our pieces, there'll be more.
And he's given us advice on the few points that we can probably think we should discuss, the specific legality. He's given us enough advice that we can discuss it and then say, okay, this is the direction we want to go, and how do we do that?
Okay.
So we have a little
So
information from
we
him
should be
already.
the first,
Yeah.
and then move things to him, okay?
Well, I think we need to set a date or we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Are weekday evenings okay for you?
Some.
Okay.
Not Mondays. Well, no, that could be flexible. We just have to switch around.
Yeah, I think if we do, I think Monday through Thursday, I could probably make almost anything happen on those days in October, in an evening. Or possibly even a late afternoon, but I'm guessing that's a problem for you.
Probably not for me that time of year, if people would prefer something like that, or even a 5 to 7, 4 to 7.
Yeah.
You have practices, though.
5, I could be here by 5 though. I'm done by 4:30, so I
Okay.
could be here by 5. So if we do a 5 to 7, 5 to 8,
Well, pick your,
Do we want to look at like the 14th, 15th, 16th?
so we're talking next
Is,
week.
is
No,
our
of
next
October.
trustee
We were looking at
meeting
October, right?
7th of
October.
October?
Yeah.
It is, okay.
13th's Columbus Day. 16th does not work for me. I guess the Monday I'd prefer not. puts me to a 14 or 15.
Either one works.
Our meeting is on the Tuesday, right?
The
It'll be on the 7th,
Right, that's on the 7th, so we'll look at the following week.
a week after our next meeting.
Right.
'Cause I know I've gotta- I don't think I'll be at that.
Is it
meeting.
too late to try to do something before that meeting?
No, I mean, it depends on, you mean in September?
Yeah.
Or, what do you mean before the
Like,
meeting?
like the 30th?
I'm gonna be out of town.
Well, well, we're not doing it without you, as much as you might like that.
Are you out of town that whole
I like
week?
that a lot.
Are you out of town the whole week or just a day?
I'm gonna be gone Thursday through Tuesday.
Okay, so we could do Wednesday the 1st, I think. I mean, I can do that.
Wednesday the 1st?
Yeah.
Can we agree on,
Unless you're getting back super late, or...
Well, I don't know what time we're getting back.
Thursday the 2nd?
if we agree on 2 days and they're a back-to-back day, I don't have back-to-back games. So if we can agree that there are 2 days back-to-back that fits everybody, I know one of them can, and like I said, when I get home, I can reply which one. They don't do back-to-back games for me, so. If we
But
say
you're saying
that
you could
Wednesday
have
or
a two-
Thursday, if we do Wednesday, Thursday, say those 2 days work, when I get home, I'll shoot back Wednesday or Thursday. Both of them might
Is
work,
that
but I
okay,
can't.
since it's the following night, at least from...
Yeah. Unless plans change.
So we're looking at October 1st and 2nd,
Is that a Monday, Tuesday?
Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay, so October 1st and 2nd.
And the time?
Let's go earlier. Is 5 okay?
Five?
Let me see the calendar.
First, second. Sorry, it's a Wednesday, Thursday? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2nd is Thursday.
Yeah, the second would work.
And the earliest I can get here is 5 o'clock.
Okay, well, you're gonna tell us whether it's a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Yes, I can, as soon as I get home.
We're hoping it's a Thursday, because I think
Yeah, because I'd have,
Dave might have
Thursday's
a
the
problem
better
on Wednesday.
yeah.
So really, I think we're still kind of just hoping for a Thursday, and if that doesn't work, we'll work something out by email.
Okay.
What about in September? Is that
Well, you're,
still fairly early? I'm gonna be gone, I'm gonna be leaving the 25th.
just a minute.
Yeah. I have a jury duty on Tuesday and Wednesday that week. Just found out
Wow.
today.
So Thursday, the 2nd right now is looking like the best for most.
Let's see if that works, and if it doesn't, we'll do something else.
Okay. Yeah, and then I'll have my schedule right in front of me.
I will try to get out a detailed agenda that would break down
Yeah.
in more,
That'd be great.
of which ones we
Specific
need.
items we
However, there's some assumptions that were made that don't have comments, that it would be helpful if anybody has questions or concerns about, we need to know that too. But
I'm just hoping that we still are allowed to set the bathing time in public waters.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart.
You're not gonna like this draft.
And also to mention, I almost hate to say it, but one of the options is it
Do nothing.
do nothing? Yeah, right.
No, we're gonna do something.
Well, one of the things that came up is the thing with the treasurer.
That's what got us going,
That's
and
what got us going.
we didn't change any of that.
Right, I know, I noticed that. Is that intentional, or that just waiting?
No, that was intentional. I mean, not but if that's something that folks feels,
Yeah, that's one of the
Important to
big discussion items.
Right.
I suppose.
Descriptions of actual jobs are one of the discussion
no,
items.
but I
and
mean, the
things like that.
beginning of the term.
Yeah.
Beginning of the term.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what is this combined, was that done by the combined Bennington, North Bennington?
That's just was my computer title.
Yeah.
I have so many
versions.
Yeah, we're up to like 20 versions now. That's where we really started adopting a lot of the type of language Bennington would use.
Okay.
And then updating it
Just
to
melding
fit
some
North
language
Bennington.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just getting rid of the really,
Archaic.
the archaic language and trying to make it clear.
In reality, Eileen provided several other charters too, and so in the end, drew from the Manchester Village one, for instance, and found that helpful because of its relationship to a town.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive in. I mean, you guys already have, and now it's our turn to,
So we're looking roughly 5 to 7, 5 to 8, 5 to whenever.
I would say 2 hours to 3 hours is pretty reasonable. I don't think we've gotten through the whole thing in 2 hours yet when we meet. I mean, we get through.
Well,
most
there's a
of it.
chance we won't get through the whole thing, and then at that time, we can just,
Well, I think, yes, and the other thing is that we identified questions during some of that discussion, but we didn't come up with answers, so that may take a little longer.
okay?
It should point out too that Eileen, in one of her comments, laid out in some detail what the timeline is in terms of public hearings.
What you have to have prior to.
Vis-a-vis the annual meeting, right, how many days before, and you have to have two.
Before
And-
the annual meeting?
Before the annual meeting, and, so,
Was it your sense that one would have to happen in December, or could it be
no,
January, February?
No, I think it was,
When what, yeah, I think
All
we
right,
have to
you have
be
to
ready.
get 40 days.
Yeah, we need to be ready around the first of the year to move forward with
Right.
notices and things like that, I think. Isn't that what we decided, mid-January, something like that?
So- No, I think they can probably both be in February maybe, but, or
They have to be warned, and
they have to be warned.
then after it passes the annual meeting, then it has to go to the legislature, right?
Right, but at this point, I'm just looking towards the annual meeting, because it needs to pass that before anything else can happen.
Right.
Yeah, and the legal part too involves Rob, and I think it involves the, the state's attorneys somehow, right? For the legislature's attorneys, doesn't it?
The legislative council.
Yeah, legislative council gets
definitely gets
involved
reviewed.
before we vote on it, right? Getting us to a final version?
Well, it would be helpful to have their feedback on that.
Right, if
because
there's
of
something
it, yeah.
egregiously wrong
Yeah.
about it, that the legislature couldn't
Yeah.
act on it,
Yeah.
then we've wasted a lot of time.
Right, right.
Any other old business?
I just wanted to ask, Norm, you were gonna, last meeting had said that you'd try to check in with Jim Sullivan about the speed limit question. Oops.
Speed limit signs have been changed.
Oh,
Let's leave it at that.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Jim was away much of this last, from what I could tell. I guess he's back now. I just wanted to mention one thing. I got a call today, somebody concerned about the tax bills, when they were gonna come out. I just verified with Mary that they always come out after the 16th of September. Always after the Bennington one because of the complexities of Shasberry District 1 education tax. And that getting all figured out by the state. There's no possible way that we can send out our bill at the same time because it can't be generated by the same program. Is that-
Yes, the state does several homestead adjustments, updates, and because we merge in District 1, we only get one chance to run the tax bill.
Right.
So if we did them earlier, which we could, there would be massive amounts of manual changes.
Right, yeah. So those will be forthcoming. Anything else? I guess we have a brief executive session for contracts. And I don't think anything else. So I will ask for a motion to go into executive session.
Move we go into executive session for
Second.
contract discussion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That could be a record.
Is that something?
Holy cow.
Yeah.